What's up, y'all? This is your boy Gerald. It is November 11th, 2016. But more importantly, it is also represented as Veterans Day. So first and foremost, I would like to acknowledge those that had to don that uniform, had to tighten those boots, had to carry that bag and get on that plane or get on that ship for the freedoms and the rights and protections of the United States of America. I salute you. I appreciate everything you've done. And there is a solidarity amongst all current, future, and past members that have taken that oath to serve and protect, that have given themselves tirelessly. So we all have a story. We've all traveled and placed ourselves in harm's way. We've all sacrificed our emotional sense for the well-being of others. It goes, never forgotten. Thank you for your service. You know, right now, the song that's been running through my head was done by a hip-hop legend by the name of Biz Markie. Some of y'all might know him as one of his classics called Just a Friend. But before he had Just a Friend, and after he left the Juice Crew, and he branched out on his own, he put out a song called The Vapors. And in that song, there was a story or scenarios that are appropriate today. One was of a man that had and was vying for the attention of a young lady. He was smitten by her. As he pursued her to win her affection and attention, she adamantly retorted, "You're not good enough because you are a blue-collar worker." But life would have it so that through focus and motivation, the roles would reverse. He would elevate his financial status, and he would solidify his name and status, only to run back into that same woman. Oh, how things had changed. The once that was considered a throwaway, expendable, no worth, no merit, was now desired due to financial and social status. But see, that's the world we live in. That was always evident since the beginning of time. Now, 2016, y'all. There is a new shift occurring. I tried to prepare you guys for this whole year. I said it metaphorically through my videos to bring awareness, because I know that some, they're afraid of what is relevant. Some become intimidated when challenge is near. And some downright will not separate themselves from the denial or loyalty to what has been the emotional construct known as your perception. So let me go ahead and throw that to the side. Because this video right here, I hope that each and every person takes note. Some it's going to validate, others it's going to bring awareness. You say, well, Jerome, okay, I hear all the rhetoric, but what's this video about? It's very simple. There are many, knowingly some, but majority unknowingly they are placing themselves in harm's way. They are seeking an alliance and an allegiance to those who do not see the value in their forever, who do not care of what defines or is the display of the makings of you, because they look at you as expendable. Now, unless you have been in a coma, have been detached from any access of media, you have come to understand that we have a new president. His name is Donald J. Trump. And in the next 4 years, he's going to be on a microscope. There are going to be a lot of biases and challenges placed before his administration just because he has broken the social construct of not coming from a political, having a career in politics. So I want you to go deeper, y'all. One thing that stands out more than ever Donald Trump is the living manifestation of what America is representing. He's a New Yorker. He's a man. He's a husband. He's a father. And I believe somewhere in the mix of it all, he believes in God. Now you're saying, well, Gerald, why are you bringing this up? Because I want you to look at something a little deeper. Number one, it should be painfully obvious that there's a spiritual battle going on right now. It should be painfully obvious as the months progress, the years progress, You're going to see a lot of clarity on things that you were unaware of, that were going on or hidden in plain sight. It's going to come to a point that you might even get pissed off, y'all. You might get pissed off. Because I really believe we dodged them a major spiritual bullet. I tell everybody, do the research. Don't always take what you see on your screen, on your tablet, on your phone as truth. Did you know that 85% of the media was democratically influenced? Did you know that? Did you know that? Well, I could spend just well, I'll just say this. As you already know, I'm a firm believer of the fact that all people can change. I don't believe that having a Grinch-like mentality is going to serve you. But there's a whole lot of people that have been campaigning like the Grinch. You remember the Grinch from Dr. Seuss. And if you grab your feet long enough, just take note in your environment. You're starting to see people that got the whole Grinch-like Dr. Seuss smile because of plastic surgery, because of modification, because of bad habits, because of smoking. Y'all, when it boils down to it, man, you got one life. Are you going to make choices that are not in your best interest? Yes, you are. Are you going to embrace things that do not serve you because of being enticed or the allure of the unknown? Most likely you will. But guess what? Even in the most heinous of choices, there's still an opportunity to turn it around. And see, right now, y'all, it's Veterans Day, and I'm taking all this in, and I hope all y'all are doing the same thing. Look at your environment. Look at your direct environment and your indirect. Look at the climate socially. I'm a firm believer, even with a pathological liar, if you listen close enough, you'll hear some truth. But if you tap into your discernment, you'll be able to filter it from the word go. Who am I talking to? You know, you're going to see a lot of media out here, from your local news as well as nationally. And they're going to try to project certain ideologies indirectly so that you can consume it. There's going to be a lot of fear baiting going on. There's going to be a lot of finger pointing going on. But you know what you're not going to see? You're not going to see people take a position of humility. You're not going to see people say, well, you know what? I thought this, and because I thought this, I acted on this, and because I acted on it, I was able to critically think. And I realized this did not serve me. This was not in my best interest. This was not in the benefit of my lineage. How about my legacy? See, we're not thinking about that. We're not thinking about long term. We're being, well, I'm not, because you know me, I stay prayed up. There's going to be people that are going to make defining decisions in their lives that are unknowingly going to set them back. It is going to open a spiritual door for a lot of demonic activity to run rampant. Because, excuse me, that's how the devil does. The devil is a lion in the brush. His sole purpose is to lie, steal, and kill. So if it means that I'm going to get someone to influence you to move from what you stand for by way of a visual stimulation, that's easy. People don't realize that, hey, the devil was God's number one angel. Number one. So you think he was not powerful? He was also the most beautiful. But even in his treachery, God still showed compassion for him to change his ways. He knew that it was a matter of time. And he knew that Lucifer, Satan, whoever you identify him as to be, he had influence. But what was at stake? Mankind. So in other words, he said, okay, you don't want to change your position. You don't want to stand to the right of me. He gave him an opportunity. But because of his small viewpoint of now, living in the moment, in his emotions, or as we say colloquially, you all in your feelings. He said, okay, well, this is what you're going to do. Now, I want you to take note of this. I need you to pack your bags. And I'm going to open this spiritual portal and take your friends with you. Go ahead and let them know. Go ahead and let them know. Because you don't want me to let them know, because you're not going to like what I have. So he was cast out. And a bunch of angels were cast out. Where do you think they went? They came here. How do you think man is able to create? They taught us. Don't get it twisted, y'all. We only use 6% of our brain. And we're able to send rockets into space. 6%. So let's look at it this way. Even the most astute professors and doctors, before they were professors and doctors, they were a student. Who taught them? Who taught them? Have you ever considered that? Let me break this down for you so you'll understand even more. You and I are sitting down chopping this up, okay? I got my coffee. Let's apply it to your life. Before you even learn to say apple, 1, 2, 3, to be able to understand sentence structures and understanding what a noun was from a verb, you had to be still. Someone had to teach you that. But you had to believe what the message was, so you could apply it to your life. So let's go back. Let's put the educational aspect to the side. Do you realize your perception, how you see the world, how you talk, how you walk, how you eat, you were taught. Some of y'all, that's clicking. You understand? If I didn't, for example, before this was embraced into my life, I remember there was a time where I knew what it was, but I could not relate. Someone had to give me one. So I was being taught. Everything in your life. Now don't get this twisted with the natural gifts and talents that you were given. Because even with that, God gave you favor to plant that in you. And so it was. Remember, he said, and so it was. Why? Because the moment you came out your mother's womb, the mission began. The journey began. The beginning of your legacy was written. Or shall I say, you applied it. If it didn't matter, you wouldn't have learned how to walk or talk. So that goes back to what I was saying in the last couple of videos. You will never have a community without unity. But to have a community, you must have communication. And communication is an art that is never mastered. You will take it, you will try to perfect that your entire life. Why? Because you were blessed. At the least, if you wasn't blessed, you wouldn't be here. Not to sound crass. Millions and millions of sperm. But yours was selected. You. That means your story has merit. It had to come to pass. And so it was. And so it was. You can't have history without action. You are the action. Your conception was the thought. But you still think that God wasn't there? Now, let me pump my brake on something, because I know some of y'all right now, you're saying, I hear what you're saying, Gerald, but my life sucks. I'm hanging on the string. My finances ain't right. I want a fruitful relationship, but every time I try to open myself up, I keep getting slapped. You know why you keep getting slapped? You know why your focus is not where it should be? Because still to this day, you won't love yourself. And anything that is not loved, two things happen. There's no understanding of value and worth, which we can say time. Without value and worth and time, guess what? There's no protection there. Who am I talking to? You think it's cool that you are spending time in your car, driving away just to cry? You ain't supposed to be doing that. You think you're supposed to be spending time trying to fight off the conversations in your head, but you think socially you are deemed crazy? No king, no queen. That's that little boy and little girl inside you that is fighting for what's right, what's needed. So guess what? There's going to be some discourse coming. Some of y'all may have gone through some betrayals. And you are at the point of giving up. You're saying, what's the point? What's the point? They get away with doing dirt and they making out like a bandit. I try to do the right thing, but I'm the one being disrespected. Let me tell you something. Stop worrying about what's in your neighbor's yard. Stop worrying about what's outside your window. But start working on what's going on inside you. Maybe this is the time that you finally have the courage to do something you should have done a long time. Should have done a long time ago. Some of y'all are walking around and you are manic depressed. And you know you deserve better. And you've even tried to be humble and seek guidance from your peer group. But let me tell you something. Your peer group don't give a damn about you like you think. And I'm not saying this to offend you. I'm saying this to bring awareness. If they really gave a damn about you, why would they stand there and watch you suffer? Why would they allow you to self-sabotage your dreams? Why would they do that? Because a friend won't do that. A friend will tell you the truth. Why? Because they love you. Even if that means they're not in your life. They want the best for your life. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. But some of y'all are so drunk within your pride and your ego, and you feel that, well, you know what? If I keep it real, if I don't keep it real, then they're going to think I'm weak. You are weak right now because you're allowing them to manipulate your happiness. They're hijacking your emotions. And guess what? These people do not know integrity if someone gave it to you. So what we're watching right now, y'all, is this. Spiritually, a lot of soul ties are being broken. A lot of soul contracts that were hidden are being risen from the abyss. And you are being shown these things. You know why? It goes back to those two gifts that God gave you the moment you took your first breath. Number one gift was to unconditionally love yourself. The second gift was free will, the right to choose. So the real question should be, why do you not choose to be happy? It's not hard to do. It's not. And I know somebody said, well, you're saying that, Gerald, but I'm over here having a love affair with this bottle over here. I got my little secret drawer by my bed, but I long for the touch of a man. Let me tell you something. I will continue to echo this. For every female, here's my voice. Do yourself the greatest gift ever. Stop looking for your mate. Stop. God didn't ask you to go find your man. He never told you that. He told you to prepare for him. So actually, what I could actually say is this. What he meant metaphorically, because the Bible and all the other holy doctrines, they're written in metaphor. It's up for you to read and digest. That's why you can take a verse and put it in a room of people and say, read this verse right there, and you'll get a different meaning each and every time. Why? Because it's connecting to the spirit. It's connecting to the real you. You know the real you. That, got that stanky breath and crust in your eyes, runny nose looking like you just fell off of a garbage truck in the morning. That's you. That's the person that deserves to be respected. That's the person that deserves to be loved. That's the person that needs to be supported. That's the real you. But for some reason, we allow things, people that have no merit, some don't even know you, to have more influence on your next step, how you think. And why do you think the phrase sheeple came to be? Why do you think? Because those people that have narcissistic, let me tell you something. You've been hearing a lot of discussion about the word narcissist. Let me explain something to you. To be a narcissist, you have to make a choice. Because you're dealing with the mind. But you're also dealing with free will, the decision. But one thing about, there's a linchpin, or there's a line that there's a rope that connects the turns. So you can't be a narcissist without being a sociopath. You can't be a sociopath without being a schizophrenic. You can't be a schizophrenic unless you're bipolar. And you can't be bipolar without being depressed. Do you see the pattern I just showed you? Let's go the other way. It's all progressive. It all starts from a thought. So the real question should be asked, who put it there? Who influenced you? What was the reason of the event that brought you to that conclusion? Did it have your best interest? And could who you are spawn growth by planting seeds from it? You tired of being alone? You tired of the Johnny-come-latelys? Are you tired of running into Mr. Right Now or Mrs. Right Now? Notice I said right now. Because Mr. and Mrs. Right Now will never earn nor respect what you stand for. That's why when you talk to them, they can't tell you what they're doing. They don't have no plans. And if you be honest with yourself, you'll see this too. Their decision making is never concrete and is always impulsive. But there's something a little deeper too. You ready for it? I'll give you a second. Take a minute. Something deeper. These people don't have a relationship with their spirituality. So if they don't have a relationship with their spirituality, guess what? They don't have a relationship with themselves. So as you already know, if they don't have a relationship with themselves, do you actually think they're going to have a relationship with you? And nobody's exempt. This applies to people that we are connected to by blood and bone, and people that we break bread with, and people we work with every day. And that's where the conflict comes in. That's where the communication breaks down. That's where peace does not reside. So, this brings me to now. Okay, guys. We are now 2 days removed in the election process. And there has been notice I said social unrest. I didn't say civil, I said social. Because majority of what you're seeing were seeds planted by way of social media. Why? Because there's a think tank in a town near you, in a city near you, in a state near you, in a nation near you, worldwide, that they've already calculated that you are impressionable. You'll take in everything that you hear as fact. And when you think about it, y'all, there's such an abomination, such disrespect, because these people will never take accountability for the actions taken. But you know what? Oh, way back when, it was written, you reap what you sow. And that is what's going on now. So we can easily say what you're watching, directly or indirectly, is a spiritual purge going on, y'all. You don't believe me? Just listen. Take note. Just look at that. When we started having protests nationally, and it was civil, well, I'll say social unrest, because you can't lump everybody in a bunch. But the one thing that stood out, and I highly recommend that you please do the research yourself. Do the research. You know, there was a hold on a minute. Because I need a prop. All right. Back when racists were covert, because they're not now, there was a long-standing joke. That said, anything of value, the best place to hide it was in a book. And this is the reason for it is you could take this book, put it there, put it down, and it will be untouched. And he said that most people, not all, but most people will not investigate or critically think. Why is that book there? What is this book? How did it get there? Because it's natural for people to look at things tangibly, things they can feel, things that will give the most stimulus or response with the least amount of investment. And that's what's going on now, y'all. People wanted to harvest. They wanted the harvest, but they didn't want to invest. And the harvest that has come back is spoiled. Some have just barren land because there was no investment to cultivate it. So right now, you're seeing a lot of our babies, a lot of them. They're out there destroying your tax dollars, destroying your property, lost, confused, and disenfranchised. And the sad thing about it is this: you can't render assistance to someone who don't want it. And you're going to see this. But you know what I noticed? When the first stone was cast, the first bottle was broken, the first release of negativity, there was also an opportunity for their voice to be heard. And guess what? When posed the question back, why? Why are you here? Why are you doing that? Why are you so angry? The majority could not answer that. They couldn't answer it. Because the truth of the matter was, they did not know. Now, on a side note, in a town near you, in a city near you, in a state near you, there were people coming into your community with the intent to destroy it. So once again, that shows that the values, the moral fiber of what makes us individuals was not embraced, was not instilled. And this is a byproduct of work not done. Yes, I was a latchkey kid. Some of y'all were too. I came out just fine. But injustice is injustice. Right and wrong. You know what I find funny? Is all these locations that are having these social unrest being demonstrated. The media is always there. They're right there. So you know the agenda is there to make money, to sensationalize the things that should not be supported. But yet I've never heard someone say, I'm out here, Gerald, because I'm afraid. I'm out here, Gerald, because I don't understand. I'm out here, Gerald, because I'm looking for wisdom that can enhance my life, not tear it down. But somebody got to pay for it. But surely it won't be the person that incited. They will not be there because they're not there. They're probably sitting on a yacht in a plush, manicured lawn, looking at the TV, laughing. Because when you think about it, y'all, it's nothing but social chess going on. And the pawns are your children, your babies. See, I realized this earlier this year. No, it was mid last year. You know, our teachers are underpaid. You can't discount that at all. They are well underpaid. But they spend more time with your children than you do. Who am I talking to? But what's so ironic in that is the perception of your baby is not your baby. Some of y'all will get that. The person that they are in the confounds of your home is not who they are when they leave outside the door. And some parents are shocked when their son or daughter is getting put in the back of a patrol car and you're screaming, "That's not right." But it was hidden in plain sight. We're watching the byproduct of the things we lack to do as parents. Instead of putting quality time, we gave them a game controller. Instead of giving them wisdom, we put processed food as a way to pacify their need for love. This is what's going on, y'all. This is what's going on. So, why do you think I always convey this to each and every one of you? Do you know who you are? Because until you make a conscious decision to fall back in love with that little boy or that little girl that resides inside you, your directions will be jaded. Your purpose will be unseen. And love will be nowhere in sight. Because, see, the spirit attracts what it is. I don't have to tell you that. You know that because you live in that. He's smacking you upside your head, but yet you forgot that you were smacking somebody up theirs. She's being unfaithful to you, but you were unfaithful to them. Energy out is energy returned. Kings, why do you think I keep trying to convey? You can't convey, or you can't call yourself a man until you take a bended knee to him. It doesn't matter how deep your pockets is. It doesn't matter where you lay your head. It does not matter how many women you are knocking down. It does not matter if you don't have the wisdom and the value to see your worth. And here's the funny thing. You get mad at her because she done swindled you out of your money. Who am I talking to? Because she gave you a little cookie, but she done spent your paycheck up. And she has no loyalty to you. You know why she doesn't have any loyalty to you? Because you don't have loyalty to yourself. Maybe you just don't know how to say no. But I know there's plenty of guys, well, I just wanted to see if I still got it. Still got it. Let me tell you something. Any fool can sit at the dock of the bay and go fishing. And the first fish that comes in, you put it in a bucket. Or you can turn around and just test your line and leave it be. See, we willfully allow the problems that should not be our problems. We take them on. You see this very evident every day when you see some woman, some beautiful woman, some talented woman, when she makes a decision like, oh, I'm going to make him into the image of me, but has to pick her face up when he leaves her, when he willfully disrespects her, or unfortunately infects her. So this is a byproduct of what's going on, y'all. So right now, you got a lot of people shaking in their boots right now. But you know what you don't see? You don't see not one person take accountability for their lives. Not one. You stick a mic in their face, pull them to the side, they can't tell you why they're angry. That's propaganda, y'all. That's being sheeple. This has been going on, y'all, for 50 years. But let something pop off in the United States. We already saw the evidence of that. Remember Desert Storm? Oh, all them biases went out the window, didn't it? We had little yellow ribbons on the back of our cars and thumbs up, and what happened to that? Opportunists don't need your help to expose themselves. But what is required is you have the courage to see it once it's revealed. The real question is why you have chosen to accept what does not serve you. Because guess what? There's a whole lot of people that had this mindset right here. And these were known universities. If they turned around and said, let me tell you what, this is what's going to happen. Okay, you want to throw a bottle, you want to throw a stone, you want to destroy my property, are you paying for your college tuition? You're not? Okay, well, boom, we're going to freeze that. Because obviously the education that you're getting does not serve you. Oh, you know how fast people will run? That would end just like that. But let's not get this twisted, because there are wolves amongst the sheep. And their whole point is to convince you to do their bidding too. There's a video floating around on social media. I know you go on YouTube, and there's this young black man. He filmed the protest that was occurring in Charlotte. What? It's been about a month ago or so. And he discovered not only was half the people in the protest not from there, but their whole mindset was to tear up his community. Tear up his community. Why? Because these people are catching a check. But these won't be the people the morning after. These people ain't going to be there. They're going to move on like the next one. Don't you realize there has always been an agenda to attack the family, to attack the structure of what makes you. Don't you understand? A family that prays together stays together. And there's a reason why. Hold on for a second. I'm going to bring this home. I'm going to bring this home real quick. So, you're going to see a whole lot of pushback for change. Now, look, it's your right to look at things speculatively, to have a viewpoint of what's being presented. But be leery of the messenger. Be leery of that. Because there's a lot of people that look just like you that don't give a damn about you. Don't give a damn about your dreams and who you are. Don't give a damn about your children. They don't care. But a fortified home stands the test of time. Why? Because love is there. God is also there too. So tell me again why you don't love yourself. Tell me again why you believe that your life at where you are right now is the end all be all. That should have been the first belief out the window. Because look at where you are compared to where you were. You remember that last disappointment you went through and you thought that your world had come to an end? It didn't. It only stayed there long enough so that you could gain the insight that would be your wisdom. That's why history will always repeat itself. That's why it's so important that you do the research, you educate yourself. See, they could take my clothes, they could take my possessions, but they can't take my knowledge. But what's the point of having knowledge if you don't apply it? If you don't apply it, guess what you don't have? You don't have a means to communicate your thoughts. So if you can't communicate your thoughts effectively, you will never have a dialogue. And you know what happens without a dialogue? No unity. No unity, no community. So yeah, you're going to have a lot of people showing their teeth, showing their ass, thinking it's cool. But mind you, the actions that you have today will have repercussions later. So I can't convey that anymore. Listen, if you only knew how blessed you were, if you knew how beautiful you really are. Listen, your beauty doesn't come from the store. Man can't give you beauty. Beauty comes from your spirit. Do you hear me? It comes from within. Haven't you noticed the more and more that you take care of yourself, the better you feel? And it seems like everything falls in place now, don't it? But also what happens is the people that don't give a damn about you, they start to try to find little threads about you and try to unravel them. Why? Because that's fear. finally everything's a reality. And guess what? That's also free will too, because it's a choice to live miserably. It's a choice to have loyalty to your pain. It takes courage to embrace truth. Maybe that person right there that's in your life won't have the integrity to protect your heart. But if you're having a emotional battle within yourself and they're in the midst of it, that right there is your validation that they don't deserve to hear you breathe. Can people change? Every damn day you can change. You might be broker than a joke right now. You don't have to be that way. It just depends on when you're going to decide to stand. Because trust and believe when I say this, people fall down all the time. But you know what don't happen when those people fall down? Get tripped up? Get blindsided? All those people that never had their best interest feel the blow. You can't find them. You can't find them. Oh, but let the moment when you start to prosper come up. They know you. Oh, they're on speed. They know that they can contact you. But where were they when you needed them? Where were they when you just needed understanding? Where were they when you required truth, even if it was painful? We are what we attract, y'all. So if you're in a place where your life is not as you wish it to be, now's the time that you have that conversation with him. It's not his responsibility to come get you. He created you. But guess what? You know how they say, the stubborn mouth don't get fed. Just think of it this way. All your blessings, all your achievements, all your accolades are being delayed. And they're going to stay delayed. They're going to stay locked away from you until you decide to come back home to you. Why? You got a responsibility of being the best you. It's your story. Have you overlooked that? But see, I understand we live in shallow times where people put price tags on their backside and say, well, you know what? I know he's a pathological liar, but he has his money on point, so I'll just pay to play. How can you see your value of your life when you are doing no different than what the plantation managers and owners were doing to the indigenous people? It's the same thing. I'm going to give you this money. You give me that backside. I'm going to take Sarah Lee, and yeah, I know Sarah Lee don't got those kids, but I don't want them. I want her. Instead, Jerome drives a Mercedes now. Tyler wears his wealth. Mind you, real men don't wear their wealth, they invest it. And you know what's funny about that? And I shouldn't let the cat out of the bag, but I will. One thing about a person that has integrity, and I'm talking about good people, not opportunists, because opportunists, you may have it today, but you're going to have it long enough till your downfall calls, and you're going to lose it all anyway because you didn't earn it. One thing about people that I'm talking about, good folk, they have a spiritual base. And guess what? All those people that were not there during the beginning of that process of that, you know what happens? They're the first ones to see the effort indirectly. They're also the same ones that have to carry the burden of knowing that should have been me. Because God, even though you did not respect his will and you disrespected your life, He's gonna show you exactly what your blessing looked like through the covenant of someone else. And that's so sad. That's so sad for someone to carry that knowing that he's supposed to be with me. That's supposed to be my life. You damn right. That was supposed to be your life. But you can't have a life if you don't love yourself. And if you have a mindset of, well, I'm just going to rob Peter to pay Paul, and I'm just going to do this for a little bit, you do understand that's the whole reason of you reap what you sow. Because integrity is blessed. It's pure. Just like truth. And that's why you hear people say, well, truth is like a double-edged sword. It cuts both ways. But if it's cutting down the things that were your distractions, the things that were enslaving you from loving you, or worse, having you do time in your mind. That's the worst you could ever do. Because guess what? That devil's sitting there. Told you. I gave you what you wanted. Yeah, you wanted that handsome dude, right, with all the money, but he don't love you. Oh, yeah. You wanted that girl that looks like that? Yeah, But what you didn't know is she has no life skills. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you. She can't have kids either. But that's what you wanted. This plays out every day. This happens every day. Oh, you stepped on your coworker to get that position. Yeah, you're getting the money, but you hate your job. You reap what you sow. You can't have a human race without humanity, y'all. But if you don't know who you are, you're placing your legacy up for sale. It's just retirement lease. So I'm asking you, do you know who you are? Because if you did, you would know what is worth protecting and what is not needed. God is praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. I hope you guys have a safe and blessed Veterans Day. I salute those who serve, as well as those who support it. But there's a whole lot of people that don't have a clue. They're broken. They're scared. But most importantly, they're lost. And you will continue to be lost until you decide to go within. Don't you think you're worth it? I do. Oh, one more thing before I go. I found it very surprising, y'all, that with all these media, all this media showing protests, these protests always happen when the camera starts. Like I said, do the research, you'll see it yourself. Yeah, that's what's going on. As well as, you notice that a lot of these schools A non-minority too. What you so mad about? I'm just saying. Upper middle class. What you mad about? Be blessed, y'all.